A Tennessee man was arrested Wednesday, accused of threatening a mass shooting at a Washington Planned Parenthood clinic. Police say the 20-year-old suspect went online and threatened to, quote, shoot up the clinic. He is now the third person to be charged for threatening violence against the abortion provider this month. All three men charged reportedly used the same social media platform known for white supremacist content. Since the shootings in El Paso and Dayton, at least 38 suspects have been arrested for various shooting plots in 18 states and Washington, D.C. CBS News correspondent Chip Reed reports.
Officials say a Planned Parenthood facility in Washington, D.C. was the target of a violent online threat by 20-year-old Jacob Cooper of Tennessee. They say he posted a threat on iFunny, a website known for its white supremacist content that said he would shoot up the facility, and if you are a member of the FBI, CIA, whatever, and are on my profile, I will trace your internet protocol address and kill you if the opportunity arises. On Monday, 19-year-old Farhan Sheikh of Illinois was also arrested for posting a threat on iFunny against Planned Parenthood. I will proceed to slaughter and murder any doctor, patient, or visitor I see in the area, he allegedly wrote. And 18-year-old Justin Olson of Ohio, authorities say, was arrested after posting a picture on iFunny of a man shooting guns with the caption, "Me walking into the nearest Planned Parenthood." This comes amid a wave of threats of mass violence. Just yesterday, a cook at the Marriott in Long Beach, California, was arrested after allegedly threatening to shoot up the hotel. He had amassed assault rifles and high-capacity magazines. Former FBI agent Kate Schweiss says the number of threats is alarming.
In some ways, this is absolutely kind of a 9/11 situation. We're begging and asking for the public to please contact us. You guys are the first lines of defense.
Planned Parenthood of metropolitan Washington, D.C. issued a statement that says, in part, no one should ever face the threat of violence just for seeking health care. We are strong and our doors will stay open for everyone who needs our care. They also thanked law enforcement for keeping them safe. Elaine?
Chip Reed, thank you. Let's bring in CBS News reporter Kate Smith. She's been covering this story extensively. So, Kate, violence against abortion clinics is not new in this country, but what makes these most recent threats particularly concerning?
What makes the threats that we saw in the past month so concerning is that all of these young men used a certain website to, project that the violence that they wanted to inflict upon these Planned Parenthoods all over the country. This website is called iFunny. Now, it's interesting. It's known as a meme sharing website, very popular among teenage boys. But then it also has this, contingent of white supremacist users where they're, posting content that is, would be considered, racist, nationalistic. And then also you're seeing these threats of violence on them. And because of these arrests, you're also seeing law enforcement taking this very seriously.
Well, what about the abortion clinics themselves? Generally speaking, what is the level of security like?
The security at these facilities is very high at a lot of, and especially in regions where sentiment towards abortion is not as supportive as, other liberal states. So I've, traveled across the country going to abortion clinics and talking to people about their experience. And for example, in Missouri, there's multiple entrances that you need to go through. Each one is locked. The door needs to be shut before the next one can open. And then before you even, long before you're in a waiting room, you're speaking to a security officer, giving an ID, telling you where you're going. He's double checking that you're on the list. So to get inside of one of these clinics can be, very difficult. And that's because there is this constant, barrage of threat against these clinics.
So why do experts think that violence against abortion clinics is on the rise?
So last year, you actually saw a record high number of violent crimes against abortion clinics. That's harassment, the level of trespassing, attempted murder, even murder, things like that. Record high last year. And when I spoke to people about that, they are saying it's because of inflammatory language that's used when they're talking about the procedure. So when, for example, when you see the president of the United States, talking about abortion as it's, akin to killing a baby, that really spikes violence against these clinics. When you see, politicians, not necessarily the president, but politicians using very inflammatory language to discuss abortion, not talking scientifically, saying, murder or, using words like that, it can really inflame people, in thinking that they're justified in, shooting or killing people that are involved in this procedure. So they were telling me that, this language in addition to being offensive to them as, a supporter and a, provider of this procedure, it can also be very dangerous.
Well, what do these threats have in common?
Well, this week we saw it was all young white men. And they are using the internet and using, websites that are, thought for, white supremacy, like where those, people would congregate online. And they're all using that area to, talk about what they would like to do at these clinics. But I will say, all three were caught by the, authorities. They were all taken very seriously. So that is a positive step in the right direction with that.
Kate Smith for us. Kate, thank you.